Welcome to another episode of CIO Speaks. This time we've taken the show on the road and we are going to meet Flora Kinuthia, the CIO of Farmer's Choice. Flora, welcome to the first ever CIO Speaks for you.
Thank you very much, Carol.
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
How is working from home?
Today is my first day to work from home. We always work from the office and I'm enjoying it.
Well, we love being here. We are being hosted by Flora, by the way. This is a lovely compound with very crisp air, and this is a first for us as well. So, Flora, how did you get to be the CIO of Farmer's Choice?
That has been a journey and a long journey. First, I am a trained IT person. And when the opportunity struck in Farmer's Choice, I dived in and I got the job. And it was quite something very new for me because it was in a manufacturing company.
And how long have you been at Farmer's Choice? I had to ask.
I've been there since 2006. I started in with very new systems because you can imagine in 2006 we were moving from some things like Windows NT to a new environment of Windows. So it was a matter of changing the platform, the infrastructure, the systems.
So you literally created the tech that Farmer's Choice is running on now?
Yes, because the older systems were obsolete, so we had to start afresh.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
You've done a good job.
Thank you.
So when you're thinking of purchasing tech as a CIO, how do you get other people around you to buy in? How do you convince them that this is the right move?
Having said that I have started the system from scratch, that is not really per se the procedures. This is just the newer systems that move with the times. But there are procedures at Farmer's Choice. We have experts, we have production experts, we have marketing experts, we have sales experts. We have experts in different fields. So we do not assume the role of that expertise. But what we do is that we try to understand where the gaps are, and we look at technology and see where we can bring in technology to align with the gaps that are there in the business.
Have you ever had a difficult time convincing the board or management on how to and what to get?
Yes. First, language. Language. You see, when you're talking IT, you talk IT. So when you're explaining something very simple, it's not being understood. So I've mastered that for you to actually not get into that breakdown of communication, you have to speak a language that is being understood by everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you have a decrease in a budget, how do you prioritize?
It's tough because every time when you're presenting something, you need the money, you need the solution. So when there's a decrease of budget, and rightly so, during COVID, the business is not moving. Everything is a standstill. No budgets, no capex to be approved. But yet we had some systems that were halfway done. So we need to proceed and probably get a new capex to get that moving. And that was very difficult and you couldn't understand because we do not know where the direction of the business is headed. So we discuss with various managers and of course the IT team, and we try and get the systems that are already in place enhanced, cheapest way possible, and purchase only and as when it is very necessary. That we're given as long as you can be able to prove and support your budget.
Okay. So can you tell me about agile project management as it relates to IT? What sort of management is it and what kind of style is it?
Like I said before, IT does not own any procedures, and we do understand that and respect that. Agile is like any other project, road, whatever. You need to get the buy-in. You need to discuss with everybody, the stakeholders, whatever project you have. And once you discuss with them, put up a roadmap and a clear roadmap with a project plan and the timings, and make sure that you share that to everybody who is a stakeholder. And once you share that, then kick off and have some follow-up and keep up with speed to ensure that all the timings that you have put in place are being kept. So that is agile for me.
What kind of resources do you have as CIO in terms of people, in terms of IT? Like, and do you need more right now, or could you work with less?
Farmers Choice setup is quite good. The structure that I have in IT department, we are 7 of us actually in the department. I have 2 senior people in the department, one taking care of us, the infrastructure, the other one taking care of programming and computer science. When we have the software, he has one person working under him, and we also have partners to work with. When you look at the infrastructure, we have the system administrator with a network administrator and 2 other people to assist. And we also have some suppliers, partners to work with us. We do get a lot of support from management. That's something I have to say, that the management at Farmers Choice has adapted technology, and that makes my life very, very easy. And so we get a lot of support, and what we have is enough. What we need is just to prove that we need a project and give a proposal, support it, and we get it. If we don't get it, we try and work around it with the team that I have.
What has managing your team taught you about leadership? What do you think of yourself as a leader now that you manage your team?
Let me say that leadership is being a colleague and not the boss.
Really?
Yes. When we are working, I keep telling my team that we are in this together. Mine is to map where we're going, what IT needs to do, how we are placing ourselves in the company, and pick up the projects that they propose. They come up with their own proposals. I look at them, I like them, let's go for it. I come up with a suggestion, I call them, we discuss, we go with it, and we run it as a team. Give me my role. I give myself my role, I give them their role. Now for me, I have to make sure that I give myself a role that I'm very sure of, because I have to finish my role adequately and efficiently. Because if I don't do that, then I'm setting a very bad pace. So I have to do the right thing for them to be able to also do their bit and in the right way.
Okay.
I appreciate that my time of experience has created an all-rounded person, so I can do both software and I can do the hardware.
Well, that's interesting, because I remember once reading about this person who said CIOs have to be innovative. They need to be able to handle software and hardware. They need to be good with people. And I keep thinking, isn't that asking a lot of CIOs? Do you think it's asking a lot of you?
Yes, for the bit of people. For the bit of people, yes.
Yeah.
But for the bit of software and hardware, actually, you cannot divorce the two. They are so married that you cannot work with software if you're not clear with hardware. You cannot work with hardware if you're not clear with software. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. If I'm implementing or upgrading a system, then I need to look at the minimum specification of that system. I need to look at the security that is required for that system. And by so doing, I am looking at the infrastructure, right? So you cannot separate the two. For you to be effective, you need to be all-rounded. You need to understand, at least have the basic of each.
What would you say are your strengths as a CIO?
Experience.
Okay, that counts for a lot.
Yeah.
That does count for a lot.
Experience and understanding systems that have evolved with time. If I mention to you when I started doing IT, you'd be surprised. It was in the 90s. So that was doing DOS and QBasic. So I've evolved with time. I have learned with time. I have grown with technology. So that gives me a very good background of knowing what there is and what we can align and push the system. Also in my line of duty, I've worked for various companies doing various things, manufacturing. I've worked for a company that was doing flowers. So there's a lot of diversity. So that has given me a lot of knowledge in what to expect. And also experience, because it's not always by the book. Some things in IT, don't go by the book. What you learned in school might not apply. So you have to have that experience of what you did before.
You know, the last CIO speaks, I interviewed a young CIO who said that he thinks that the young CIOs should be given an opportunity because they are more agile and they are quick on their feet. And that when people who have worked in the 90s are becoming CIOs or are CIOs, that it actually, they think more along the lines of legacy tech as opposed to new tech.
I totally agree with that. Let's call them millenniums.
Yeah.
The millenniums are extremely focused. Remember, they have been born in the age of technology.
Yeah.
So the toys they've worked with, they played games in the computer. They have communicated on the phone, on a smartphone. They have gone to school in your campus, or sorry, maybe you're very young. In my campus, probably a computer was not something that was known. A smartphone was not something that we could use. But you see, for them in campus, they're using laptops, they're using smartphones. They communicate well on the technology. They're hands-on. So when you want to learn something that you use and you want to know how it works, then you become much better than a person who is learning a new thing. So I totally agree with that. And I totally agree that young people should be given the opportunity to lead.
But you also need the opportunity because of experience. But also, how do you stay up to date with the latest technology? What resources do you use?
You know, I thank people like CIO because you keep on calling us when you have major partners who are introducing their stuff. And from there, by the way, we learn a lot. We learn quite a lot. I also equip myself to attending other workshops like what you have and internet.
So in what ways would you say you have made Farmer's Choice smarter?
Automation. We have been in a journey of automation, which makes life very interesting. We started with a sales team, so we have a PDA system that the salesman uses to enhance their operations out there. We also have automations in the factory, which now that's becoming the in thing, that what I'm doing in IT. That is what we are focused on. We started 2 years ago with Microsoft. We did IoT, where we are aligning the weighing skills to the ERP system. That seems to be working quite well. We are rolling it over so that it will see an end-to-end system that has something that we had not had before, which is traceability in the system. We have traceability outside the system. So we are aligning, we are aligning IoT to ISO standards, which are being run at the factory, and it's quite something exciting. We have done phase 1, which was quite successful. Now we're doing phase 2. We also engaged ourselves with automation of artificial intelligence. And when I tell you that I'm keeping up with the times, yes, I am. So we're trying to keep up with times of artificial intelligence. So we're trying to do some automations on the sales at the sales side, and that we have seen phase 1, which is also very successful. We have gone to phase 2, which is what we're trying to implement. Those two are being run concurrently.
There must have been a time when your experience actually came in handy when the millennials didn't know what to do. Do you have a scenario like that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, old is good.
Yes.
Old is good. Yes, sometimes they will, like I said, IT sometimes is not by the book. So we'll apply everything that we know. We will read the books, we will search on the internet, and we can't crack it. But having gone through an experience like that in an older system, give me an insight of what probably we need to bypass, or how we need to apply some tricks and get the systems going. Especially when you're doing an in-house system, that comes in very handy.
You sound like you enjoy your job.
Oh yeah, I do. I do. That is why I'm still there.
Okay.
One thing that I know is that I don't work because first of the salary. And when I say this, I mean it. I started working in IT when I was 19 years old. Now I can't even mention my age now. So this is all I know. I love IT. I love being in the IT world. I love technology, and I enjoy my work. I enjoy what I do. Yeah.
So what does it take to have a successful career as a CIO?
Serious business, serious business. You're carrying and moving the company to where they need to be in technology. So first and foremost, God comes in very handy. I am a Christian, and I believe that God moves you in every direction. So God comes in very handy. I also believe that there's no success as a single person. It has to be a teamwork. You have to build the team. You have to make the team feel part of it, and you must make the team feel part of the success or the failure, whichever way it goes. Nobody wants to be associated with failure. So everybody has to work hard to be associated with success. So you drive that success, but you're driving not just a success of systems, but a success of even the people that you're working with. And there's something that I also learned in my life as a Rotarian. I'm a Rotarian. Yeah, we have 4 way tests. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Does it bring good friendship and good relationship? Would it benefit all? Now, if you apply that, by the way, it has worked well for me, because every time when CIO defend any system, defend things that have gone wrong, try to work with every department. Sometimes there are those issues that will come up that are not quite orging very well with everybody. So the questions comes in very handy, and you take a minute, count 1 to 5, ask the 4 questions, and move forward. That way, you're able to sober up and deal with the issues as they come, fairly, justly, and creating relationship and not breaking relationship, because relationship is key.
Okay. Yeah. So you mentioned that there had been some failures. How do you handle failure when it happens?
Oh dear, we sleep in the office. You know, IT, there's no way you can run away from failure. And in your life as an IT person, whichever position you're holding, you will experience failure, because sometimes the systems just refuse. They just refuse to agree on what you're telling them. Now, we have learned the hard way, and I, with the team, have created various backup systems. Some of them being manual, like when there's things that will go wrong, and we'll go manual for about 5 minutes. There are things that will go wrong, and we fall back to a disaster recovery site. The things that will go wrong, and then we fall back to backup and restore. And the things that will go wrong, and then we start afresh. Now, when you start afresh, that is where the total failure is. And you must always avoid that, because it is quite a tall order. You'll never recover fully if you have to start afresh. So it's always good to know that things will go wrong. You will fail. So prepare for that failure. And preparing for that failure is to making sure that you have a proper disaster recovery site. And since we did once fail and had to start from very far, we always make sure that our disaster recovery site is tested at least a quarterly basis when you're doing a preventative maintenance, to make sure that everything is tested.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, you have the current skills that you do have. Then on the other hand, you have the future. And then as a CIO, you're supposed to bridge the gap and tell people, this is what I'm looking forward to, and this is what we need to, this is where we need to go. So how do you bridge that gap between existing skills and resources and being forward thinking?
Forward thinking is for us. Bridging the gap is also for us. The main thing is to understand the language to use and the format to use to sell the idea of where you're going. And the good thing is the world of technology is influencing everything in the world. So sometimes we use even examples of things that you have in the house. You've had a TV and it was analog, you changed to a digital, and now you have a smart TV. Now that is how technology is moving. You have a phone, you used to use that smoke kabambe thing. Now you have a smartphone, and that's where the technology is going. So it becomes very easy, because when you start now selling whatever you're introducing to the company with normal lifestyle, how lifestyle has affected each one of us, then it becomes easier for the other person you're talking to understand what you're talking about. So that is how we prepare.
Okay. From what I've been able to gather interviewing CIOs, it seems like your job is very demanding. So are you usually on call 24/7? Is that your experience?
Yeah, I told you, when it fails, sleep in the office. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But like I said, it's a life I started when before I got married. And I've had children, by the way, with the same lifestyle of 24/7. And yeah, I'm still doing it at my almost retirement age. And yes, it interferes with your social life. It interferes with your personal life at times. The best thing is to know how to bridge that. When you're alone and your department is small, then it can be a very tall thing on you. When I have a department like the one I have, we have decided that we need that life. We need the other life outside IT. So we give ourselves schedules and work out with duties. But of course, being the leader, you take yourself out on duty 24/7, but sometimes it's just on call. Then you have somebody who is physically there to assist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is this thing CIOs keep saying, keeping the lights on. What does it mean?
Making sure that all systems are working all times.
Okay.
Very impossible, but yes, that is what we try to do.
So how do you balance that with risk?
That's something that I personally struggle with, because you can imagine if that was not there, then I would not be having a team of 7 people, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
We have that team of 7 people because the unknown will always strike, and probably something that you are not prepared for. You cannot prepare for everything. And especially when you have a new system, or you have an update, or the risks are there and you know that you're risking this. So, well, it is quite tough, especially when it comes to the risk bit. But once it happens, once things go wrong, just know how to deal with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you keep Farmers Choice neck and neck with the best organizations? How do you make sure that you're among the best and you're at the top?
It's teamwork.
And you stay on top.
It's teamwork. Like I said, it starts from elsewhere. Farmers Choice is sales driven. So being sales driven, we have to toe the line. We try to keep up with what they're doing, how they are positioning the brand, how they're positioning us out there, and that becomes easier for us, because say for example something like the internet, we provide the technical knowledge and the solution, and assist them with everything that is technical. But how they design and what they put on the site now becomes the marketer and the sales representatives. So that makes it make it very easy for us, because we only do what it takes to keep the brand up there. And I do appreciate that Farmers Choice is a respected brand, and my duty is to try as hard to maintain that standard.
Okay, so what's the secret to the Farmers Choice sausages? Because I have a sister who lives in the diaspora, and she will come all the way here. She'll pack sausages in a suitcase, and she will go with those, despite the fact that she can get others.
Yeah.
What is the secret with your recipe? How do you make the sausages so tasty?
We're happy people. We make, we always say that mommy's food is the best because it is made with love and joy and happiness. We're happy people. And like I said, I truly, honestly love working at Farmers Choice. Working for Farmers Choice has really taught me quite a lot. We are a fraternity. In fact, it is the real thing, the family. And I think that is why the recipes, of course, that is the production business. There's a lot of consistency. there's a lot of teamwork, there's a lot of efficiency, and that is what keeps the brand up there. We are a team, and a team that is very, very bond together. And I do really thank our management team, our managing directors and the other directors, because they have managed to keep us that way. Yeah.
So what do you do when you're not working?
I said I'm a Rotarian,
Yeah.
I'm a Christian, social services, selfless service, and of course I have a big family, so I take care of my big family. I'm looking forward to grandchildren. They haven't started coming yet.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
How many children do you have?
I have 3 children, 2 daughters and a son. Yeah, growing up. I also have other 2 daughters, not my own, but I take care of those 2.
So what do you think your children have learnt about being in a career from you?
First, I think they've learned to mingle between being a mom and being a career person. One of the hardest thing, but most enjoyable thing. And also the responsibility that comes with it. And it has to be all-rounded. It has to be something that what you are at home is what you are at the office. What you are at the office is what you are at home. What you are in your social sector is what you are in the office, because if you start separating those 2, you fail. So all has to move, the whole crowd has to move with you.
Okay. Yeah. So if your child came and told you they wanted to be a CIO, what would you tell them?
I would encourage them. None of them has taken that route.
So let's say that a campus approached you and then they told you you've been a CIO for a long time. What do you think we should teach people in campus to prepare them to be CIOs? What would you tell them?
See, we do have a lot of attachment, and I do enjoy mentoring young people, especially young girls. And first is be sure of yourself, believe in yourself. Once you believe in yourself, work hard. This is a field that is termed to be dominated by men, but I don't feel it that way. I feel like it is a field that actually women can do better. And no offense, because of women's nature is consistent.
Yeah.
Women's nature is very patient. And for you to be a CIO, you need to be very patient with the system and with the people. So I really would encourage the young people, especially the ladies, to dive in. It is a good thing. Like I've told you, I've never done anything else. So this is what I know, and it helps you actually even grow as a person, because you're running after a technology that is growing, that is so diverse. There's so many things that are coming, and you cannot stop going back to school. You're always learning. And that way, even your brain is always on the move. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was a lovely interview. Well, everyone, you heard it from Flora. Farmers' Choice sausages are the best because they're a happy family. Thank you so much for joining us, and let's see you next time at CIO Speaks. And God bless.